Here we go. .54 here on TSN at 690. Eric Thomas coming to you live, and this is Game Night Montreal, joined by Marco Polo, who's been playing the music all evening. And if you like it, go out and pick up the Django Unchained soundtrack and go out and see the movie as well. Speaking of movies, we're going to head out to La La Land right now. Former editor of Vox magazine, Andy Passion, joining us on the line to talk a little NBA hoops. But Andy, apparently you have a little hockey talk for us before we get into the hard court action.
You know, thank you for having me. Eric Thomas, a little hockey. Gotta say, big win for McGill over Concordia today. Fire up Redmen.
That way.
That's a big one for me. Sister went to McGill. Also, though, Gary Bettman apologized to everyone today, and I just would like Gary to know that I do not accept your apology.
You do not?
Apology not accepted.
Now, does it even hit the radar there in Los Angeles, Andy? Has anybody talked about the fact that the lockout has been lifted, given the fact that the LA Kings won the Stanley Cup?
You know, honestly, it's just the wrong time for all that, because you're talking about a city where right now it's the epicenter of all things basketball, both good and bad. So it hasn't really registered, no. I mean, not much talk about it because you have the Clippers and you have the Lakers, and that's taking up all the bandwidth.
Yeah, and Andy, we'll jump right into that because the Lakers, once again, I don't know how abysmal this team can be, and I have watched a lot of games this season, I don't know if I could say the pleasure of seeing them play, but they look like an old team. They faced another old team tonight in the San Antonio Spurs, and once again come up with another loss, 108-105 in San Antonio. I mean, what's wrong with this team? Is it coaching staff? Is it chemistry? What is the underlying factor of why the Lakers cannot win a game?
It's funny because, you know, LA is known for bad sports fans, but they do know how to freak out about the Lakers. And, you know, people are talking, what's the real reason that they're so terrible? Is it they're old? Is it they're slow? Is it they're injured? Is the chemistry bad? You know, you've only got these guys. They haven't been playing much together, especially because of the injury. But really, the answer is all of the above. They're just not very good. I mean, that's just the beginning, the middle, and the end of the story. And because it's the Lakers, and, you know, it's a big story no matter what they're up to, they get Dwight Howard after his debacle in getting there. You know, Steve Nash has only played a few games, but it's just, I mean, Kobe looks like every person he looks at, he's going to obliterate them. He's so upset with everybody, the entire team. He looks like the angriest man on the planet. I don't know if D'Antoni was the right guy. I don't know if Phil really necessarily would have done much better just because the pieces, I mean, you talk about the bench, thin. Jody Meeks should not be a man you rely on day in and day out. I do like Jordan Hill, but it's just not good. I mean, it's just not a good situation, and I honestly don't think they're going to turn it around.
Let's jump over to the other member or tenant of the Staples Center, and that'd be the LA Clippers. Of course, since the Chris Paul trade, he was supposed to go to the Lakers. Since that trade, LA, the Clippers, that is, of course, last year, have their best winning percentage in franchise history. And meanwhile, they continue to win games this season, looking like a front runner, and Kobe even called them a contender for the NBA title this season. What is the reason that the Clippers have been able to get it done and the Lakers have not?
Well, I believe you mean the Showtime Clippers, first and foremost. They're just stealing that right from the Lakers. I think really it's funny when we talk about how bad the bench is for the Lakers. I mean, you look at the bench for the Clippers, and they're fantastic. They're keeping them energized. You know, obviously, CP3 is playing otherworldly. I mean, to me, it's him and Melo for MVP. Obviously, you got to talk about LeBron because LeBron's LeBron. But the things that Chris Paul is doing, I mean, when they need someone to score, he'll step up the scoring. When you need someone to dish it out, he's there. He's still, you know, top 5 steals as usual. But, I mean, that bench is really what's carrying them along. They've got Matt Barnes is heating it up. Jamal Crawford has been playing well. You know, you talk about just it's a team effort over there, and it's impressive. It's really, you can't ignore what they've been doing, and people here are really paying attention to what's going on.
That is the voice of Andy Passion, former editor of Vox magazine, and this is Eric Thomas. We only have a few minutes left here on Game Night Montreal, Andy, but I'd like to jump to a subject that I know is near and dear to your heart, and that'd be the Chicago Bulls. They once again lose at home this evening, moving to 10-9 at home for the season, so just a game above 500, but lose to the Milwaukee Bucks 104-96, and reports coming out that Derrick Rose, All-Star and MVP point guard for the Chicago Bulls, could be back in the lineup as soon as February 19th. Of course, he tore his ACL in the playoffs last year against the Philadelphia 76ers. Is it as simple as getting him back in the lineup for the Bulls, who are currently sitting 5th in the East? They are a good team at 19-14, but I know he will propel them over the top. Is that the key piece that they're missing? And what about his comeback?
Well, I mean, it's got to be him. He's, a former MVP. But I think this is one of those seasons where you're not going to write him off, and you're not going to say let's wait to see what happens next year. But it's sort of you're almost playing with house money in a way. No one expects them to do anything. Who knows? We especially with Adrian Peterson going nuts after his ACL. Recovery, that doesn't always happen with these players. And, Derrick Rose might not come back and be amazing and be it might take him a while to get into the rhythm. I just think that with them, this year is it's take it for what it is. As a Bulls fan, you got to enjoy it for what it is and understand that things didn't go well. And, injuries happen, and you just have to. I'm impressed with how they're playing. They're still leading in defensive efficiency ratings. They're doing really well in terms of what they do well, and that hasn't fallen off. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Actually, Amon Shumpert on the Knicks tore his ACL same day as Rose in the playoffs. If you remember, I think he had his surgery just a few days earlier than Rose, but he was cleared for practice earlier this week. So he's sort of the barometer that I think that people are noticing. All right, so Derrick Rose should be coming back soon. And when Derrick Rose comes back, who knows how he'll be. I imagine he's going to be pretty effective. I still think they can make a nice little run. I don't know if anyone can beat the Heat just because of how the NBA is made up. It's star power, and if you have the best players, you have the best chance to win. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'm excited, definitely, to see how he just performs coming back from this.
And word is that he has changed his game up a little bit, of course. He is that herky-jerky player that really go for the gut punch type of guy, and I think he has changed that up a bit, a la maybe a Dwayne Wade, and of course that's a great player to aspire to. Former editor for Vox Magazine, Andy Passion, I appreciate you taking the time here on the program.
Thank you, Eric. Great to be on it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have. Just after 11 here on TSN 690, this has been Game Night Montreal. Eric Thomas signing off, Dave Simon, and the Ringside Report is up next with Kevin the Big Tuna McHugh.
When it comes to beer, you'll never hear this, Les Trois Brasseurs. You also won't hear this. But at Les Trois Brasseurs, you will hear plenty of this. Les Trois Brasseurs, fresh, exclusive brewed on-site beer that goes directly from their tanks to your glass. The perfect complement to their European-style menu. Les Trois Brasseurs Restaurant and Microbrewery. Beer brewed on-site.
Wake up! It's 8 a.m.